Hello and welcome to another skill of the week for your greenware. We are going to show you how to do one kind of technique. It's called underglazing, and your greenware. This is the little box that I poured the other day. Okay, let me put it on the lid on the box. Okay, and there are techniques that you can use on these smooth things. You really want to decorate them in some way or another, and when you glaze, sometimes if you just use regular glazes, the glazes can just kind of run together and then they don't look very good. But when you use underglazes, they are to be used on greenware, and when you fire them after you've underglazed them, it burns it into the greenware, which makes it hard and it doesn't come off. And then when you go to final glaze it, which you're going to do like a clear glaze or a cream colored glaze or something like that, some kind of transparent glaze over the top of your greenware and your underglaze, then you fire it a second time and it won't seep together. So what I've got right here is forest green underglaze, and I'm going to move the camera so you can see what I'm doing here. But I'm just going to use this underglaze. Okay, it's kind of got a chocolate milk consistency. Oops, I think I got some underglaze on the top. Okay, so I'm going to just do a design, and that way I've got something going on other than just a plain old box. And you want to use a a soft bristled brush anytime you're doing any kind of glazing, because a stiff bristle brush is going to create gouges in your greenware. And one thing you need to remember is you always want to use a round brush, not a flat brush, because a round brush is going to put the glaze on and a flat brush tends to take the glaze off more than it puts it on. So just remember, round, soft bristle brush. Okay, so I've got my first coat. I think I'm going to add a little bit more to this. I've got my first coat of underglaze on, and you always want to do at least 3 coats, otherwise this is going to be pretty transparent. So, and I want to have this a design that is solid. So now I'm just going to go back over my lines. Oops, well, I'm going to have to incorporate that into my design now. And remember, when you are glazing, you want to have kind of a bead of glaze on your brush. You don't want it to dry out as you're painting it on. And you want to keep track of where you are in the glazing process so that you know how many coats you've done and kind of have a methodical way of doing it. So don't be visiting with your neighbor and then go, oh, how many coats did I put on? Where was I? You know, just start at one end and go to the other end. And notice how I'm holding my brush. I'm pretty much holding it straight up and down. That way you're just using the tip of your brush and you're going to get a smoother line. Okay, now that drop that I had on there, I'm just going to go ahead and create a little design there so it looks like I meant to do that. And I maybe do something around the edge there. Nice thing about this kind of glaze is it dries really fast because it's soaking into the clay. Now, one thing you do have to be careful of is that it also softens your clay a little bit. It'll wet it. So you have to be careful that you are handling your greenware with care. There, so now I've got a design all the way around it, and I know that the side design needs another coat, so I'm going to start where this kind of drippy one is and do a second coat on that, and then just go all the way back around. Okay, and this is the last design before the one that I started on. So that was the one that I started on. So now, if I want to, if I want a really opaque glaze, which means you can't see through it, I could do a third coat. If I want it to be semi-transparent, I can stick with the second coat. And I think I'll just stick with the second coat. So that is how you underglaze a design on your greenware. Just be very, very careful with it.